All right, let's get right into it. Think of this as your financial skills workout, designed to get you totally prepped and ready to crush your quiz. So here's our game plan. First up, we're going to nail the basics with checks and registers. Then, we'll jump into the really important stuff, the difference between simple and compound interest. After that, we'll master the calculator, your best friend for this quiz. We'll use it to solve some real problems, and then we'll wrap it all up with a final pre-quiz checklist so you know you're good to go.
Okay, let's dive right in with our warm-up. We're starting with the essentials, because getting these details right is the foundation for everything else we're going to do.
This might just look like a simple piece of paper, but on your quiz, every single one of these blank spots is a potential point. So let's walk through all 6 parts right now to make sure you know exactly what goes where and why.
It's a really simple flow, right? You pop in the date, then you write who you're paying, that's the payee. Next, you put the amount in the little box with numbers. And here's the part that's super important. You have to write that same amount out in words. Then a quick note in the memo, and finally, your signature makes it all official.
Now, you might be wondering, why do I have to do both? Well, here's a really cool pro tip for the quiz and, for real life. The written amount is actually the legal amount. See, it's way harder for someone to mess with written out words than it is to change a number. So if they don't match, the bank legally has to go with what's written in words. Pretty important, right? So always double check. Okay. So as soon as you write a check, your very next move should be to log it here in your check register. Just think of it as your own personal running total. You just subtract what you spent from your last balance and boom, you know exactly what you have left. This is the best way to make sure you don't overdraw your account.
All right, warm-up's done. Now we're getting into the real core of it. We've talked about money going out of your account, but let's talk about the 2 main ways your money can actually grow.
Okay, this is probably the biggest idea you need to nail for this quiz. Simple interest, it's just what it sounds like. You earn interest only on the money you first put in. But compound interest? Whoa, that's where the magic happens. Your interest starts earning its own interest. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger all on its own.
And check this out. Here's what that snowball effect looks like with real numbers. Same $10,000, same interest rate, same 10 years. Look at that difference. That extra $1,289, that's not money you added. That's just free money your money made for you. That's the power of compounding.
But wait, it gets even better. What if we make that snowball roll even faster? I mean, what happens if we compound the interest more than just once a year?
The rule here is super simple. The more you compound, the more you grow. Every time interest is calculated and added, it's like your principal gets a little power-up for the next round. So yeah, monthly is always going to be better than quarterly, and daily is going to beat them all.
Okay, time for the powerlifting portion of our workout. Let's get comfortable with your calculator's time value of money function, or TVM. Seriously, this thing is your secret weapon.
All right, grab your calculator. First thing you're going to do is find the TVM menu, probably under your Apps or Finance button, and select Compound Interest. You should see a screen that looks a lot like this. Now don't let all those letters scare you. We're about to break down exactly what each one means.
Think of this as your mission control. Get these inputs right, and you can solve pretty much any problem on the quiz. So N is the total number of payments. That's years times payments per year. I% is your annual interest rate. PV is present value, what you start with. PMT is any regular payment you make. FV is your future value, your goal at the end. And PY and CY are your payments and compounding periods per year. You got to know these.
All right, let's talk about the common traps. These are the easy points people lose, so listen up. First, any money you invest, money leaving your pocket, has to be a negative number. Super important. Second, the interest rate, you enter it as a percent, so 5, not 0.05. Don't do the decimal math yourself. Third, make sure PY and CY match what the problem says. And last, remember N is total payments, not just years. 5 years of monthly payments means N is 60, not 5. Got it? Don't fall for these.
Okay, enough theory. Let's actually put this to work. We're going to walk through a real-world problem and see how we can turn it into simple calculator inputs.
So you see a block of text like this, and it's easy to get overwhelmed. Don't. Your job is to be a detective. Just scan the paragraph for clues that match up with our TVM variables.
And here's how we do it. In 5 years, that's our N. 7.25% interest? Easy, that's I%. The question, how much should she invest now, tells us that present value, or PV, is the thing we're trying to find.
Compounded quarterly means our C/Y is 4. Need $26,000 is our end goal, our future value. And since the problem doesn't mention any regular payments, PMT is just 0. See, we just turned that confusing paragraph into a simple checklist.
So once everything is plugged in, you just solve for the one you left blank. In this case, PV. And there's your answer. Arlene needs to put in just over $18,000 today to hit her goal in 5 years.
All right, you've done the hard work. You've done the powerlifting. Now it's time for the cool down. Let's just run through a final checklist before you jump into that quiz.
Okay, before you click Submit on any question, just run through this in your head. The check. Did I write the amount in numbers and words? The calculator. Is my interest rate a percent? Is my investment a negative number? Is N the total number of payments? And does my C/Y match the problem? Seriously, taking 5 seconds to do this little mental check can save you so many points.
And that's it. You've done the workout. You've got the basics down, you know how to use the tools, and you have your final checklist. You are totally ready for this. Now go ace that quiz. Good luck.